I hope you can see this. I wanted to share something with you. Now, I had videoed this plant a salad garden in a barrel on my deck, and I planted cucumber seeds, some basil, some sugar snap peas, and these 2 tomatoes. Here's a cherry tomato called Super Sweet 100, and this one is called tie-dye. Now they do have tomatoes on them, but look at the leaves. They're scruffy, yellowed, kind of curling, and it's like this plant is struggling. And then look at my cucumber. Very tiny, yellowed. The basil's doing very little. I keep this watered and fertilized with a water-soluble organic fertilizer. My lettuce is barely popping up. So I'm going to share with you, I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to go to another potted tomato plant and other, like the cucumbers, and show you the difference. Now, if you can see here, it's another Super Sweet 100 cherry tomato, and look at the difference. It's full of leaves, it's growing beautifully, it's lush, but not too lush, and it has tons of the cherry tomatoes on it. And so what is the difference? So now I'm going to take you over to some cucumbers and show you, and they were planted, this was planted at the same time as the one up on the deck. This is down by my greenhouse, but it's not location that is making the difference. Let's go look at the cucumbers that I planted at the same time as the ones in the barrel on the deck. So here's the bed of cucumbers that I planted the seeds at the same time as those ones up on the deck in the barrel. And they're tall, lush green, and putting on hordes of baby cucumbers. These are the baby fingers or Persian fingers cucumbers, the snacking cucumbers like you could get. I find them all the time at Costco, but they're really juicy, crisp, and just delicious. So I love growing them. They're super easy. And that's why I wanted them in my salad garden on the deck. So now that you've seen these two, oh, my my sugar snap peas, I'll show you those too. So here's the basil and some sugar snap peas that I started. Actually, these sugar snap peas I started afterwards because the ones to the left of it were going and producing from the spring planting. And I planted these ones next to it afterwards when I saw that the first spring planting was starting to fade, and I wanted to continue to get some on into fall. And the basil is, I need to pick some actually and make some pesto. I have a really good pesto recipe on the website too that you won't want to miss. So there is the other plantings of the same plants that I have in my barrel. So now let's talk about why this is happening. It's not because it's in a barrel. It's not because there's a lot of plants in here. The cause, I cannot prove this, but it goes along with what a lot of things I've been reading. There is some herbicides that are used in different crops that then those crops are fed to animals. The animal manure, it carries over, and even though it's composted, it does not dissipate. It's still there, and it affects certain plants like tomatoes and others. And what it does is it inhibits their growth, and you get the yellowing, you get the stunted growth, you get all this kind of, I don't know, ungrowth. So I can't remember all the names. There's like 3 or 4 different names, like one's like pyrolam and whatever, and it's been found in potting soil now. So the whole reason I'm bringing this to your attention is I want you to know that if you have planted things and you're getting results like this, it may not be your fault. It may be your dirt that you got. I got this at a local hardware store, this potting soil. It was their name brand. And I had used some of their name brand before and after, and I didn't have this effect. So it could have been a certain strain or certain, time frame of where they got their ingredients, so that this one was tainted where others have not been. So there's no rhyme or reason, like you can avoid a certain brand. My cousin had asked me about her tomato plant was doing the same thing. She got her potting soil from a completely different store, different brand. And so you just don't know. And it's kind of hard to say. I, before this, had some horse manure, composted horse manure from a local ranch, small ranch, and theirs was fine. But you really need to find out where, if you do that, where they're getting their hay and feed, straw, to feed their animals, because that crop is notorious for having this type of herbicide in it. So what I am going to do, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to dig these all up. I'm going to put them in fresh potting soil, or, I'm going to get some more composted horse manure, make up my own DIY potting soil, like I did previously, and see what happens. I'm going to see if they improve, if they've been warped for life, or what. This is, like I said, it's still putting on some cherry tomatoes, and this has some beautiful little tomatoes on it. I don't know what moving it will do, but it isn't working the way it is. So that's why I'm going to change it. So there you go. Just a note. It's not you. It could be your potting soil if you're having plants struggling like this.